What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Johners. This is a special episode, and we're not going to be talking our usual stuff that we normally talk about AEW and NXT and all the hot goings on around the wrestling business. Today is a special bonus episode, and we're going to be doing a special 2-minute Brainbuster Quiz. Now, the last time we did one of these was about a month ago, just ahead of WrestleMania, just prior to WrestleMania 36, with Mags from Badlands and Worry Watch, and he enjoyed that experience. And I've got a whole list of people that I want to get through this quiz, but today I've got the Mattnificent Matt Willis via Skype on the Wrestling with Johners podcast. So Matt, I know that we've said hi off air and got to know one another, but how are you, my friend? And thank you for coming on the Wrestling with Johners podcast.
It's an absolute pleasure, sir. It's an absolute pleasure to make your acquaintance and to grace your show, to be fair.
Absolutely. Well, I know that we arranged this a little while ago so that the day's finally come around. And we were talking off air, and you're no stranger to wrestling quizzes. I understand that you've done a few, so you're well prepared for this kind of experience on the Wrestling with Johners podcast, a 2-minute Brainbuster Quiz. How would you say your wrestling general knowledge was in general then, Matt?
In general, I think I can hang with the best of them. There are certain areas I have better knowledge than others. Having said that, and now I have said that, I'm pretty sure that under pressure, I'm now going to follow cocktail Brighton Beach.
Yeah, well, that's it. When the clock's on, when the pressure's on and the time's ticking down, that's it. Even the best people have crumbled. And like I say, I think you're our 8th competitor to go through the 2-minute Brainbuster Quiz. And the scores on the leaderboard, which I'll go through very soon, does range from excellent to maybe not so good, to be honest with you, but we'll get to them scores in a bit. But Matt, once again, it's great to have you on the Wrestling with Johners podcast. But talking off air, you dabble a little bit in the podcast world, and you're a bit of a content creator yourself, and you're involved in more than one podcast. So give my listeners a bit of a rundown as far as what you're involved in, because it's quite broad and varied, isn't it?
Well, you flatter me by saying a little bit of a content creator. Yes, people like to say that I've got 80, 90 shows. I can produce one out of a drop of a hat sometimes. But no, I have 4 shows I'm involved with, and one that I produce. And those shows are the Good Cop, Bad Cop Wrestling podcast, which I co-host with Graham. I co-host Talk at the Table with former guest of yours, Mags, and Conrad Newton. I co-host a show called What You Talk About Willis with my younger brother. It's on hiatus at the moment because things in the world have just gotten away, unfortunately, at the moment. I co-host Game Junkies, which is a gaming podcast, alongside my good friend Alex. And I produce and edit for my other half, Chris, who hosts Chris Talks Games. You can find all of those on the Visionaries Wrestling Network.
So you're a busy boy, and as I mentioned to you off air, I mean, I'm used to drop in 2 or 3, sometimes 4 episodes a week, and it sounds like you're just as busy as I am. So, but as we also said off air, we do it because it's a passion of ours, and we love podcasting. We love kind of sharing our knowledge and our enthusiasm and passion for the sport with others, and hope that they can kind of gain something from that. And that's how you feel about content creation as well, don't you?
It is the form of expression. Some people find playing football easy to do and no trouble at all. Some people find cooking really easy to do. That's my day job. And some people find what we're doing right now easy to do. It comes. I've got a face for radio. I've got a face for TV. That's what I think. So, as Mag once said. I'm going to apologise for the accent. I could listen to Matt Willis talk about the weather.
There we go. Well, no higher praise from Mags, I suppose. But tell us a bit about your wrestling fandom then, Matt. So I gauged that you've kind of been a long-time wrestling fan. Would I be right in thinking that?
I started watching wrestling, go back a long time ago. With my nana watching World of Sport.
Same as me, yeah.
But when I became a fan was in late 2000 when I tuned in to watch Armageddon's Hell in a Cell.
Right.
A friend of mine got me into it originally because of King of the Ring 99 on video, or VHS as people in America would call it, and also with Unforgiven 99, which had the infamous Kennel from Hell match. And the 6-pack challenge with Austin as the enforcer. And that, I watched them a lot with them, and we had street fights and things like that between us in like bedrooms and gardens, and I was powerbombed for a ladder once. That didn't hurt at all. No, of course not. Don't wrestle at home, kids, seriously. But yeah, I was watching an Armageddon, and I have not missed a pay-per-view since.
Wow, that's dedication. That's dedication, and
which means I suffered through Kelly, and Alicia Fox.
You poor soul. You poor soul. Well, we're only a week away from Money in the Bank, Matt, and I'm quite intrigued by the whole concept of the ladder match. I know that both the women's and the men's matches are going to be taking place at the same time. I understand they got to scale the offices of Titan Towers to get to the top, and then to get to the ring, get to the ladder, get to the briefcases. That's going to be quite intriguing. But I think the pay-per-view as a whole is looking quite good. I'm looking forward to seeing Drew versus Seth. I'm looking forward to seeing Braun versus The Fiend. I know that a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match has just been announced, but where's your kind of excitement level for Money in the Bank? We kind of know how WWE pay-per-views are looking nowadays, especially off the back of WrestleMania 36. Does Money in the Bank this year intrigue you at all?
Am I allowed to swear on the show or not?
Pardon me? You can swear? Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. The reason I asked that for a good reason, because normally in the shows I do, I'm all PG. Right. With regards to the climb the corporate ladder idea, when I said that ladders were going on top of Titan Towers, the first words I thought out of my mouth were, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, same.
But at the same time, I then thought about it, and I thought about it a bit more. And then I went back to WrestleMania and that amazing Boneyard match. And they threw that together at relatively short notice. And the Firefly Funhouse match, people raved about that. I preferred the Boneyard over the Funhouse, but that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Having seen the production quality on that and the time they've had to get this done, people now unfortunately have got a benchmark to judge it against.
Yeah.
Expectations for this double ladder match. Let's face it, if we're going to do both at the same time,
that's my understanding. Yeah.
There is potential there for intergender interaction as well.
Wow, I hadn't considered that, but that could be very interesting, couldn't it?
Think about it. Nia Jax is not afraid of rumbling with the men, as with when she became the second person to enter both rumbles.
Yes.
Obviously, because Beth Phoenix done both, and Daniel's done both, obviously. I don't think anyone else has done both.
No, I can't think of any. No, I think Beth Phoenix was the first. I can't think of anybody apart from Nia Jax.
I know Chyna appeared in the men's rumble, but she never appeared in the women's. Obviously.
Does Santino Marella count? Because he did the men's and the women's, didn't he? I don't know if it was certainly not the same year, but I think he was in the women's this year, and that annoyed me.
He wasn't. He wasn't. Either way, he certainly wasn't the. He wasn't the second one. That's certain. If you can count him as that was first transgender wrestler, you want to go technical on that one. I'm not sure how you go about that, but I'm not quite sure how you work it out with Santino. But either way,
we'll skip over that.
I'm intrigued by it. I'm glad I actually have some time off to watch it live as well. It's not live because by all accounts it was pre-recorded a week or so ago.
What, Money in the Bank?
By all accounts.
I know that there's been images of the wrestlers of the setup and of, was it the Fiend standing on top of the towers? But I've seen, I don't know if they were taken as promotional shots, but you could be right. You could be right. They could have been filmed already. Yeah.
And if
I know they're
they've
still doing live Raws and live SmackDowns. So
yeah, if
yeah.
they've pre-recorded that match though, and this is something that I will be talking about on other shows as we go forward on my network. Go check them out, guys. Seriously. Shameless plugging. I'm so sorry. I'm worse than Mick Foley. If they pre-recorded all of this, is Apollo Crews involved in them or not? Because Apollo Crews obviously was taken out of the match because he got injured. Now, I don't know still if that's a real injury or if that's a kayfabe injury. And if that's the case, then Apollo Crews, I'm sorry, but I really was hoping he was going to win the ladder match.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember a lot. Sometimes you do get faces win Money in the Bank, but traditionally, usually it's a heel who wins it. Having said that, when's the last time now thinking about it, when's the last time a face won King of the Ring?
Well, they haven't had it. I mean, I think the last
Austin.
champion was Baron Corbin, and then Wade Barrett a few years earlier before that. Sheamus before that. So you're right. I think certainly the ones in most recent memory, say going back the last 10 years, have been heels. But yeah, and then you think back to previous champions, Brock Lesnar, and a lot of heels there, definitely.
Money in the Bank is the perfect accessory for a heel.
Yeah.
Always has been. Because the faces never really cash in, surprisingly, do they? Not usually.
No.
It's usually the heel doing a sneak attack, which is fine. It's what it's designed to do.
Yeah, indeed.
I
think Braun Strowman might have been a babyface when he won his Money in the Bank, but he failed in his cash-in, so that's largely forgettable, to be honest with you.
That's largely forgettable. On that, because you can't have a no contest in a Hell in a Cell.
Oh, there we go.
2 years in a row.
Yeah, not good. Anyway, we're here to focus on the wrestling quiz of all quizzes, certainly as far as I'm concerned. Shameless plug, the 2-minute Brainbuster quiz. So let's go through the leaderboard and let's see what you're up against as far as what you need to beat. So the rules are 2 minutes. I ask questions within them 2 minutes. You need to answer as many correct questions as you can, or correctly answer 2-minute wrestling questions in 2 minutes. If I don't stumble over my words, I will not do that during the quiz, I promise you. But the leaderboard as it stands, BJ from Aussie Lucian, Mining for Mayhem, he's at the very bottom. He's propping up the leaderboard with one at the moment, just one correct answer in 2 minutes. Then we got Kieran, a friend of the show, Facebook follower, has been on the Wrestling with Johners podcast a few times. He's got 3. Third from bottom, we got Mags. We love Mags here. Badlands Pods and While We Watching, all that good stuff. 3 pods, Mags. He's on 4 on the leaderboard. Then we got another friend of the show.
I'm afraid he's all pods now.
All pods, is it? Yes, I forgot that. Sorry, Mags, if you're listening. I do apologise. Then we got Nick Towles. Now, Nick Towles is smack bang in the middle, 4th from top, 4th from bottom. Friend of the show. He came on the show and did the quiz, and he scored 7. 3rd from top, we've got Jason Lee Wood, another friend of the show. Jason Lee Wood is actually 4th on 6. Nick Towles is on 7. 2nd from top, we've got Ashley Clements, friend of the show. He's on 8. Top of the leaderboard is Grizz with 9. Now, Grizz, he's got his own Robot Wars podcast, friend of the show as well, been on the Wrestling with Johners podcast a couple of times. He was the very first person to come on the Wrestling with Johners 2-minute Brainbuster quiz, and he scored 9 straight out the gate. So ever since then, everybody's fallen short of Grizz's 9. So 9 is the score you have to beat. I would say, let's aim for more than Mags, and I think you would be happy. Something for you to taunt Mags about, maybe. But this is a general knowledge quiz, so it does kind of mainly focus on WWE, WWF, because that's a big part of my wrestling fandom, to be honest with you, a big part of my knowledge base. But there is a few others thrown in there, maybe from different promotions, different eras, not necessarily to trip you up or to throw you out, but just to make it a little bit more varied and a little bit more interesting instead of it being about one topic. So, Mattnificent Matt Willis, are you ready for the 2-minute Brainbuster quiz, my friend?
As ready as I'll ever be.
So the clock will start when I ask the first question. And that first question starts Now, who was Mike Rotunda's US Express tag team partner in the WWF between 1984 and 1986?
Ted DiBiase.
Who briefly managed the Legion of Doom when they returned to the WWF in 1998?
Pass.
Who is the current Impact X Division champion?
Impact X Division champion.
Yes.
RBD.
In what year did Owen Hart become the WWF King of the Ring?
1995.
Who is the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion?
Junior Heavyweight Champion? Matt's going to kill me here. Will Ospreay?
Who did Drew McIntyre eliminate to win the Royal Rumble? So who was the last person that Drew McIntyre eliminated in this year's Rumble to win the Rumble?
Randy Orton.
Who did TJ Perkins beat in the final of the Cruiserweight Classic tournament in 2016?
Grand Metalik.
How many times was the Ultimate Warrior the Intercontinental Champion?
Twice.
How many times has Kazuchika Okada held the IWGP Heavyweight Championship?
Too many, in my opinion. 3.
Which match aired as the final match on the US broadcast of SummerSlam 1992?
Aired the last match.
Yeah, what was the last match to have aired in the US broadcast of SummerSlam 1992?
The match featuring the Road Warriors.
In what year did John Cena last main event at WrestleMania?
In which year?
Yeah.
That would be WrestleMania 24. No. That'd be WrestleMania 29. So that would be 2013.
Okay. Right. So your 2 minutes are up, Matt. How well do you think you did?
Terribly.
Okay.
I know I did terribly there.
So let's go through the questions and let's see exactly how well you did. You might not have done as bad as you think. So the first question, who was Mike Rotunda's US Express tag team partner in the WWF in 1984 through to 1986? So this was before the Money Incorporated days. So you mentioned Ted DiBiase. So Ted DiBiase, I don't think he joined the WWF until 1987. But Mike Rotunda was part of the WWF for a couple of years, mid-80s. He was part of the US Express tag team and his tag team partner, and actually won the tag team championships twice in their run, and it was Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham, of course.
Yes, I remember that now, yes.
Okay, so second question, who briefly managed the Legion of Doom when they returned to the WWF in 1998? So I did stumble over the question there, but did you understand the question correctly?
I understood it, I just passed on it.
Okay, so you passed on it. So I know that they're renowned for having their long-time manager, Paul Ellering. He wasn't in the WWF around then. I think he did come back briefly in 1992, so 6 years before then, but they returned, if you remember, in 1998, and their manager very briefly, when they were called LOD 2000, was, of course, Sonny.
Oh, yes.
Question 3, who is the current Impact X Division champion? You said Rob Van Dam.
That was a complete guess, because I don't watch Impact.
Well, no, that's a fair shout. Rob Van Dam is doing very well on Impact, to the best of my understanding. But the current X Division champion is Willie Mack, and he's recently become the champion. I think they aired their Rebellion pay-per-view on April the 21st, and Willie Mack actually defeated Ace Austin to become the new X Division champion. So that's Willie Mack.
Fair
right.
enough.
Question 4. In what year did Owen Hart become the WWF King of the Ring? So I think you said 1995, Matt.
And I've just realised that's wrong, because that's when Mabel won it.
So if you remember, Bret Hart won the first ever kind of televised pay-per-view tournament in 1993. Then, of course, he had that epic feud with Owen from 93 through to 95. But smack bang in the middle, 1994,
when he became the King of Hearts.
King of Hearts, the second ever King of the Ring pay-per-view tournament. Owen Hart beat Razor Ramon in the final.
So Mag, stop laughing.
He's not laughing yet.
Oh, he is. I guarantee.
At the moment, you're 0 for 5, but we shall 0 for 4. Sorry, we shall continue. Question 5: Who is the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion? You said Will Ospreay. Now, Will Ospreay would have been a good guess. He was the former champion. Now, he lost the championship at Wrestle Kingdom 14 in January to Hiromu Takahashi. So Hiromu Takahashi beat Will Ospreay for the championship in January and is still the champion now, of course. Question 6: Who did Drew McIntyre last eliminate to win this year's Royal Rumble? Do you remember who you said, Matt?
I think Randy Orton.
Yeah, I think Randy Orton was eliminated by Edge, if I'm not mistaken. But the last person to be eliminated by Drew McIntyre was, of course, Roman Reigns. So
I might actually get the first ever nil point on your show.
Don't fear. Question 7: Who did TJ Perkins beat in the final of the Cruiserweight Classic tournament in 2016? Now, I love that tournament, Matt. It was so refreshing. Great to see some classic kind of junior heavyweight and cruiserweights from all over the world. Really great to see the likes of Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. in this sort of tournament. But in the final, it was TJ Perkins versus Gran Metalik. So you're off the board. You off the mark. You got your first one there. So well done. Well done. Question 8: How many times as the Ultimate Warrior was he the Intercontinental Champion? You said 2 times. 2 times is correct. So you are you're on 2. So you're above BJ. So well done on that. You're not at the bottom of the leaderboard as it stands.
Cool.
Question 9: How many times has Kazuchika Okada held the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship in New Japan? You said too many times. I think you settled on, was it 2 or 3?
I did 3.
3. The correct answer would be 5, sir. So 5 times he's been IWGP
like I
Heavyweight
said,
Champion.
Too many times.
Not your bread and butter there, New Japan.
No.
Question 10: Which match aired as the final match on the US broadcast of SummerSlam 92? So I was there at Wembley Stadium. And one of the greatest moments of my whole life. Now, the match that I saw air last, or in person with my own 2 eyes, was the British Bulldog versus Bret Hart for the Intercontinental Championship, that classic 5-star match. But there was a few matches from the top of the card. Randy Savage, the match around Randy Savage, of course, versus the Ultimate Warrior for the WWF Championship. And when they aired it 2 days later in America, they actually switched the 2 matches around, and it was the Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Savage that aired as the main event in the US. So not good on them. So that was question 10. Question 11. So in what year did John Cena last main event at WrestleMania? So you did stumble a little bit.
I corrected myself, yes.
You did, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And you said 2013, WrestleMania 29, and that was the correct answer. He's got 3 correct answers in this space of 2 minutes, Matt. That was tough. That was pretty tough. How did you find the experience now that you know how well you did?
Well, if I'd have had the WrestleMania one, I'd have aced it. But
Indeed.
I didn't get the WrestleMania one. But that's fair enough. I'll be back for another go at it. That's for certain. I enjoyed this.
Indeed. So you are, let's see, 1, 2, 3. You're level with Kieran on 3, and we'll gladly have you back as many times as you want, because I know that it's the luck of the draw. And like I say, I think that the questions, they're only easy if you know the answers, aren't they, Matt? And you kind of agree with that. You'd agree with that. But Matt, it's been an absolute honour and a pleasure to finally speak to you and make acquaintance with you, and to have you on the Wrestling with Johners podcast in this special bonus episode of the 2-minute Brainbuster Quiz. But you've told us a bit about your podcast at the top of the show, Matt. But before we let you go, we can't let you go without giving you an opportunity to throw out some plugs, some Twitter handles, Instagram handles, wherever you carry your social media channels for your shows, or your person, your own personal pages if you want to promote them. But now is your opportunity to plug away, sir.
Okay, this is the point where normally my co-host Graham who is usually listening at times 3, like Max does, would say, "Oh, here we go." I've got several Twitter accounts I run, but the main one I want to plug is my main one, which is at the Matt Attack UK on Twitter. On there you'll find me. That's where I basically interact with. Every other Twitter account I have is just so people can send stuff to the shows. So like Game Junkies Pod for that one. You've got Willis Boys Talk for what about Willis. You've got Talk at Table for Talk at a Table. But in general, at the Mattnificent UK is where you can talk to me. You can talk to me about anything, gaming, podcasting in general. You can talk to me about anything. And if you want to follow the network, follow that at VizWrestleNet, although that will be changing soon to a new one. Do subscribe now so you can actually keep track of it when it changes.
Superb. But the Mattnificent Matt Willis has been the guest on the 2-minute Brainbuster Quiz, a special bonus episode of the Wrestling with Johners podcast. So thanks, Matt. We'll definitely have you on the show again. And I'd love to get you on one of our main shows that usually drops on a Saturday to be a guest on one of our featured shows. So we'll have to arrange that. But thanks again for dropping on the 2-minute Brainbuster Quiz. It's been an honour, my friend.
I would be honoured to join you for that. And now, if I could finish the way I finish all of my shows. And
you go ahead, my friend.
I'm Matt Willis. I'm out of here.
Thanks, Matt. So please keep it tuned to the Wrestling with Johners podcast. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that ever important subscribe button on whatever platform you listen to us on so you can be notified every time a new episode drops. Please help to spread the word. Tell your friends and tell your family. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media channels. Of course, we're on Twitter at @WithJohners_pod, on Instagram at Wrestling with Johners, and of course our ever popular, fun, friendly, interactive Facebook community page. Just search Wrestling with Johners. But for the meantime, from myself and from Matt, and to all of our listeners, thank you for tuning in on this special bonus episode, and we'll catch up with you all again soon.